Morning, everyone. Welcome to M Connect monthly webinar series. This month's topic is customer loyalty and how restaurants can improve loyalty programs. We're going to talk a few things about this in a short while. Let's wait for a couple minutes so that others can join. All right, let's get started on this. Again, as once again wanted to welcome to our monthly webinar series, where we talk about different topics around restaurants, marketing, and operations. Most of the topics are around marketing. Um, the examples that we're going to give over this course of the webinar are based on our experience, based on the work we have been doing with our clients, and based on industry standards. And if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to post them on the chat, and we'll try to get to them. Or else you can also reach out to us at marketing@mconnect.com. Again, this month's topic is how restaurants can implement and how they can actually make sure that their loyalty programs are successful. And again, we will be talking more in terms of how they should monitor it and what kind of strategies restaurants have to implement in order to make sure that they're getting a better return on investments on their loyalty program. Right? With regards to, again, when we talk about loyalty programs, it's all about customer retention. In this case, when we talk about from a actual the definition point of view, right? When we're talking about the customer retention, it means how we can make sure that the customers who are placing an order are coming back over and over again. Let's assume if you have a pizza place, whenever customers are thinking about pizza, they should your brand name or your restaurant name should pop up at the top from a consideration point of view whenever they're thinking of going to a pizza place. So that means you need to make sure that certain things that you need to take care of in terms of customer service, in terms of offers, all these kind of things which are very critical and which will enable the success of your particular restaurant. So think of it not just from a loyalty. When we talk about loyalty, it goes hand in glove with your customer retention as well. And these are the topics that we're going to actually talk in terms of that we're going to cover today. A little bit about mConnect and what is customer retention and why is it critical, and how restaurants can implement few strategies in terms of making sure that they get the best returns on their loyalty programs. And we also will include a critical case study that we have done at one of our clients and what strategies we have implemented and what were the results that we have actually seen based on the based on this particular case study, which goes in line with the strategies that we have actually implemented. So whatever example strategies that we're going to talk during this course of the webinar, it's to do with we as a company have implemented at one of our at many of our locations, client locations, and what works and what doesn't work, kind of a thing, right? A little bit about mConnect. We have started the company in 2015, We are more a customer engagement platform with an emphasis on collecting customer data throughout the interactions that a brand or a customer engages with a brand, and using this data to kind of personalize and make sure that we get the right marketing outcome. So that's in a nutshell what we do at Unconnect. We focus on customer engagement, we focus on customer data, and making sure that we get results using this data that enhances customer experience and increases the revenues of the restaurant. So that's what we've been doing over the past 6 years. And whatever strategies, again, reiterating the point, whatever strategies we're going to talk is based on our own experience, excuse me, based on our own experience, based on what has worked and what kind of results we have seen, which we're going to talk in a little while as well, right? In terms of, again, going back to the agenda, when we talk about customer retention or customer loyalty, it's not that like 100 customers who are walking into your store, you're going to retain them. It's just the nature of business. So, but if we look at it, your 80% of your profits comes from 20% of your customers, and making sure that you identify those 20% of your customers through a program or through other means, so that you can increase your revenues in terms of and decrease the costs in terms of making sure that you are delivering to these 20% of your customers what they want, when they want, and all these things, right? So, from a customer retention point of view, we talk about how many new customers are actually walking in, out of which how many customers are actually coming back, or you are able to retain over a time period, and focusing on this set of customers or strategies that you want to implement in terms of making sure that these people come back. Again, bear in mind, it's not just the first time. Let's assume if your average ticket is, let's say, $20, and the first time customer who's coming back, they might be spending $21, but over time, they're going to actually increase their revenue or their spend, and that's what we have actually. That's the basic premise or the basic reason why customer retention is very critical in terms of not just increasing the revenues, but also the ability to sell to these existing customers. Like let's assume you're introducing a new dish, or you're opening a new location, or something else. So it is easier for you to go to these existing customers and tell them, hey, this is a new pizza that we have actually come up with. It's a new crust. Let's say you're planning to introduce a cauliflower crust. At that point of time, if you want to find out any people who are interested in this crust, it's easier for you to go to your existing customers who are more receptive to this idea of a crust of a cauliflower crust, so that it's easier for you to kind of see the results in terms of increased sales for that particular crust, vis-a-vis when you're trying to promote a new the crust to a new set of customers, right? Because the relationship is like more like you're trying to build a relationship from ground up with any new customers. And when you're doing that, so you're basically spending a lot more money in terms of advertising, in terms of customer service, and all those kind of things. Just assume this way, right? You spend $10 in getting a customer into the door, and at that point of time, the customer actually has to ask questions in terms of, okay, what is good in this restaurant? Where can I get my napkins, and etc. So you are basically, if you look at it even from an operation standpoint of view, a new customer who's walking in, they need a lot more attention from an employee perspective vis-a-vis where you actually have an existing customer who knows what to order, and they do not waste time basically standing at the or trying to go through the menu and trying to understand the menu and all those kind of things. So in total, if you look at it from a customer retention point of view, it is not only easy for you to kind of sell to the existing customers in terms of, in the sense that like your costs, in terms of making sure that they understand what the new product is, or your new location, or whatever new things that you're, or even with the existing products that you want to resell, or if you kind of want your customers to kind of come and buy repeatedly, so it's easier for you to do that than trying to get a new customer. So the initial layout itself, in the sense that from an advertising point of view, the cost would increase. In terms of operations cost, that would increase. At the same time, these customers would also try to, they tend to spend average ticket value will be a lot lesser. So you're basically on ROI for a new customer is a lot lesser when compared with an existing customer. So that's in a nutshell why restaurants or any businesses, they have to focus on retaining the customer. When we talk about retaining customers, that equates to a loyalty program. And the loyalty program we basically are talking about in terms of as to why it is not just in terms of the revenue perspective and all those kind of things. As you can see this, they tend to spend a lot more, but also in terms of operations wise and all those kind of things, that's even more critical as well. Right. So now we have laid down the reasons why we actually have to focus on why, or the basic premise as to why we need to focus on loyalty programs. Let's look at in terms of what are the different strategies that you need to make sure that you can actually implement. And again, from an overall perspective, right? Like when you're implementing any strategies, you want to make sure that these strategies are working, which you can measure in terms of the metrics, in terms of, again, whether a particular strategy is working or not, and what kind of metrics you need to focus on, all those kind of things that we're going to talk. Again, bear in mind whenever we are talking about these strategies, we are basically looking at things that we have done and things that have actually worked, and where we have actually shown results to our clients from a loyalty program perspective. Now, the very first thing that you need to, whenever, again, once you have decided that, okay, I want to introduce a loyalty program, that means a well thought out process. You need to find, again, you need to convince yourself saying that, yes, I want to go all in for my loyalty program. So that means if I'm actually implementing a loyalty program, you need to make sure that it is the right program. You need to have the right objectives as to why you are implementing the loyalty program. Obviously, you want to make sure that you are trying to increase your revenues, decrease your costs, and make sure the customers are happy, right? And make sure that the employees are happy. So that means you have multiple stakeholders whenever you're thinking of a loyalty program, in terms of your customers, which your loyalty program should be driven by, your employees, they are the drivers for this particular loyalty program, and and the right program in the sense that it has to have the right incentives, the right methodologies, and the right platform, and all those kind of things which we're going to talk about. But end of the day, um, it is, you're not doing a favor to the customer. The customer is actually doing a favor for you by joining the loyalty program. So that means there has to be some meat to the program, in the sense that If you're designing a loyalty program, just saying that, hey, you need to get 10 points for every $10 you're spending, or $1 per point, or something on those lines that you want to focus on. And at the same time, you can also look at from an operation standpoint of view, right? Like, in the sense that, let's assume you are very busy during the weekends, but and you want your loyal customers to come during the weekdays, where Monday to Wednesday your team is practically working at 20 or 30% capacity, whereas from Thursday to Saturday they are working at like 120% capacity. And then right, so you want your capacity to be kind of like, when we talk about capacity in terms of number of customers walking in and all those kind of things. So is it possible for you to have, one of the objectives can be, the loyalty program can be, can you actually make sure that, rather than the customers who are walking in on a weekend, can you try, it's not that everyone you want them to, instead of weekend, make them come on a Monday or a Tuesday, right? So you are trying to change that, the buying patterns as well, so that you can make sure that your employees are happy because they are not working like at 120% capacity and all those kind of things. And right, at the same time, they're also not like wasting your dollars or something like that during the weekday times and all those kind of things, right? So you need to have the right loyalty program. What are the basic objectives of the loyalty program? Obviously, as we talked about, it has to be a customer driven, in the sense that what is that the customer is actually getting out of it, right? Can you actually have an easy way for them to sign up, right? In the sense that, do they actually have to uh, jump through hoops to sign up? How easy is it for employees or for customers to sign up, right? And in terms of, again, if I go back to this one, we are talking about like few things in here which go hand in and glove, right? In the sense that your employee should understand it, your customer should understand it, and it has to be driven by, again, like, if you're basically saying that you will get 2% off when you join a loyalty program, it's not enough incentive for a customer to sign up for that particular loyalty program, because if your average ticket is, let's say, again, $20 or $30, and you're giving them 2% off, right? It's as in practically nothing, and it will actually even kind of bounce, or it's kind of like repeat, it kind of throw off customers even to give any, when you have such kind of a stingy loyalty program. But at the same time, you cannot actually have a loyalty program where you're saying that, okay, spend $10 and get 100 points, and when you reach to 100 points, you'll get $10 off, right? You're practically basically selling food for free. So there has to be a common ground between what you want to achieve in terms of, I mean, increased sales and all, decreased cost, and what the customers can expect from that program in terms of making sure that they feel special, right? In the sense that they, hey, if you're like that they are part of this club called loyalty program, where they can get some, not just for joining, but also on a frequent basis in terms of getting incentives or specials which are not available. And maybe if for example, you can actually throw them a T-shirt saying that I am loyal to XYZ brand or something like that, or I belong to this club or something. So when you start having these kind of objectives, when you think through the overall loyalty program, that itself is like 50% work done. Because let's assume, going back to this example where you have this T-shirt saying that I am a proud member of XYZ brand loyalty club, and this particular person goes around and wears this particular T-shirt, they are promoting your brand within their community and all those kind of things, within their social circle, right? So So that means the customer has to be incentivized to wear that T-shirt for you because they are in effect becoming a sales agent to kind of promote your brand, right? Again, in this one where we are talking about, it's just that like you have to come up with the right loyalty program when you think about it in terms of what your objectives are, what is the process around how you're going to implement it, how you're going to actually communicate it, and how you're going to actually make sure that the implementation is done right, and so which basically boils down to your metrics as well, right? Um, in terms of, again, when we are talking about the loyalty program and the feedback, right, it is important that if it, whenever you are trying to get these customers sign up, you have to ask them in the sense that, hey, we have this loyalty program called X, Y, and Z. Would you like to join? And there are right now, like if you look at the younger generation, they are more driven by the loyalty program as well, in the sense like if you actually have it on your website, so you need to kind of communicate and you need to basically ask for feedback at the right time. In the sense, like for example, we have this tool or this tool called Critique. Whenever someone places an order or whenever they come to the store and if we have their contact information, we send them an automated email asking how their visit was, and we send through multiple channels, through SMS, emails, as well as FB Messenger and other channels. And asking them shows that when we ask for the feedback, it shows to the customer saying that we care about what they, how their experience has been, and how we can improve further so that their upcoming visit can be made even memorable. Right? Again, from a dining perspective, you are trying to create a memorable dining experience. So getting a feedback from the customer saying that, hey, I like your ambience, but it would be much better if you turn down the volume of your music or something like that, as an example, right? So these are all valid points that you will only get if you ask for the feedback. And as part of this feedback, again, if you have information in terms of saying that this particular customer who has been to the store, but they are not part of the loyalty club, you can kind of ask within the feedback. Again, that's what we actually do as part of Critique, is saying that, hey, you came to our store, you placed an order for $20. By the way, do you know that um, if you join our loyalty program, you can earn 20 points based on this one, based on the $20 you spent yesterday. And that's not just the gist of it, but when you join our loyalty program, you will also get XYZ things, right? Again, that goes back to your earlier slide where we are talking about designing the program and communicating it, in the sense when we talk about the design the program, what is that the customers are going to get for signups, for XYZ offers when they reach the milestones, and all these kind of things that has to be implemented as well, and that should be part of your communication and feedback strategy. Like feedback is nothing but a communication strategy that you are actually sending out. Again, if you look at it, we have seen pretty good results when we are asking for feedback in terms of open rates, in terms of click rates, and customers joining the loyalty program, because again, customers want to feel, they want to feel important. They want to feel that my feedback matters, right? So that's what we need to basically make sure that you are focusing on the right program and communicating it and asking for feedback from the customers at the time. In terms of, again, as we just been talking about, right, the communication has to go in multiple ways. Communication to communication to your customers, communication to your employees, and communication in general to prospective customers as well, saying that we have this program. If you join this program, you will basically benefit for these results, right? As in for these reasons, in terms of, again, as I talked early on, you can only communicate well, or you can communicate in a clear way and a concise way if you know what you're communicating, which goes back to your earlier slide where we need to come up with what exactly is the program, how are they going to make, or how are the customers going to get points, are there any sign up offers, and all these kind of things that you need to think. Again, from a communication strategy point of view, um, it's not just given the fact that there are so many emails which are going out, so many SMS messages, and other channels which are popping out like an FB Messenger or Twitter and all those kind of things, right? Direct messages. So you need to make sure that all these are covered with regards to your message. The message has to be consistent, saying that, hey, join our loyalty program and get XYZ for free, and not just that, but 10 points as well. So that means you know what exactly you want to communicate. Now, the channels of communications are also important. It's not that everyone, obviously, within the restaurant industry, the open rates for emails are around 22%. So that means the rest of the 80% of the folks are not getting your message. So that means you need to make sure that there are multiple channels for you to reach out, with regards to with regards to the message that you want to communicate, right? And that's what we actually focus on. In the sense, we focus on at this point of time emails, SMS messages, and FB Messenger, and it's over communication is good rather than under communicating and making sure that you fail to communicate the message to that particular customer, right? If you're looking at, again, in terms of specific things, when you ask the customer, right, in a nice way, again, that goes back to the communication strategies itself. And in if they see a value in that, they customers are willing to submit or provide their information. And when we are talking about this one, it means that, like, you need to make sure that you're communicating at the right time with the right message, and it should be relevant to the customer. Let's assume that if someone places an order online and they are, let's assume, again, for simplicity reasons, they have placed an order for an omelette and let's assume a croissant, right? So when you're communicating with them, you better ask them how was their croissant and how was their omelette. Was everything okay with that order and all those kind of things? So here, the customer knows that that you as a restaurant value their opinion. You have gone through a little bit more effort on your part to find out what they have eaten, and you are actually asking about that particular specific information. So with that, you will see a lot better interaction with regards to or engagement rate when it comes to feedback, and that again engenders customer relationship from a restaurant's perspective, where you are like saying that, hey, look, listen, I care for you as a customer, and please let me know. And in return, the customer will basically say, okay, this is my information. I'm going to share this information because it looks like you're, again, you're taking a little bit more extra time in knowing me and all those kind of things, right? Which leads to our personalization, right? Again, as we talked, like whenever you're talking or whenever you're talking to a particular customer, you need to focus on what they have purchased, when they have purchased. Let's assume this way, like, again, as part of our loyalty program, we have or we actually ask for the person's birthday information, so we can send them some incentives for them to come to the birthday or something like that. And we have seen where we've received communications from the customers saying that, hey, thanks for making this day an awesome day or something like that, right? And we have seen this n number of times at all our clients where we are trying to build relationships and building relationships through which we will get to know more information about that particular customer, and then personalizing it in such a way so that the customer feels important, and that's when they're going to actually interact with you more, and then they're going to actually become more loyal customer to you, right? For example, one of my friends, he owns a restaurant, and this guy is amazing in the sense that every person who walks through the door, he remembers their name. He basically asks them how they are doing and how is their family and all those kind of things. So if you look at it, that's the kind, and it's not that his food is pretty awesome or something like that. It is within the average limits, but his restaurant is always full because the customers who are walking in, obviously his product is good, but at the same time, they also like his customer service because he is kind of taking time to know, hey, XYZ, how are you and how is your family? That kind of puts them more loyal towards that brand, and we have seen the results in terms of itself, right? Like in the sense like where his restaurant did not go down, even though because of the COVID and all those kind of things. So from a loyalty program perspective, if you have these things during hard times, your customers will come through and kind of support you, right? Again, making sure that you know your customers is very critical, and that's where like some of the automation comes in place. Like again, example, as we're talking about critique and our frequent loyalty program, we have the capability where we are saying that hey, are these customers coming back or not coming back? Create an offer for them. Are these customers coming back within the past 1 month or so? Then create another kind of an offer and all those kind of things that you can actually do, which enables you to kind of get to that ultimate goal of creating like a coupon for each customer based on what they have eaten. And obviously, this actually can be done only with the right technology in place, in the sense that if you have to go through, let's assume someone places an order or in store and you have 100 customers, trying to go through them and finding out what they have ordered, it takes out, it's not feasible, but at the same time it takes the charm out of this whole personalization, and that's where you're having the right technology is very, very important for you, um, which kind of, again, when we talk about the technology piece, right, it means that ability to make sure that you are focusing on the ease of use, ability for your employees to make sure that they can implement the program without any additional training or any of those kind of things that you want to implement, so that it's easier for your customers and employees to implement the program. Frequent, which is our loyalty program. It's a phone number driven program where if someone swipes a card, and by the way, it is integrated to point of sale system. So when someone swipes a card, we check if this card is associated with any particular phone number. If yes, then we automatically map that particular transaction with that particular phone number, and then making sure that from an employee standpoint of view, they don't actually have to take any other additional information or anything like that. So Again, from a technology perspective, having this kind of technology will enable your employees free up a lot of time and resources so that they are not basically bogged down in terms of implementing rather complex technology and all those kind of things, right? So making sure that you have the right technology which will enable to collect customer data, which enables you to do more personalization. So it's kind of like a virtuous cycle where you're saying that I need to know what exactly I want from my loyalty program, right? And then you are actually implementing it with the right technology and the right resources in order to make sure that the program is successful from a training perspective. And then which kind of like says that, okay, once you have implemented it, you have to make sure that on an ongoing basis, it's not like a one-off thing, right? Like from a technology or from an implementation perspective, the journey just starts when you implemented the loyalty program. And it is an ongoing journey that you want to participate with the customer, wherein you are trying to leverage the data collection process in steps one and two to personalize your offers and make sure that they actually again, they basically can appreciate the fact that you as a restaurant owner are uh, going beyond your call in terms of making sure that the customers actually have the right this one right experience. Um, in terms of, again, when we are looking at one of the things that you need to focus is, again, as we talked about, right, is how can you make sure whenever the customer is interacting with you as a brand, that you focus on all these aspects. Now, for example, at mConnect, we follow what we call as an A to A path for customer journey, or A to A phases for our customer journey. So we talk about awareness, we talk about engagement, we talk about acquisition, and then we talk about loyalty and then advocacy. So these are the five stages a customer goes in, and at every stage of this communicate, or at every stage, you need to make sure that the experience, if you talk about customer journey optimization, it's all about the experience the customer will have, right? In the sense that, let's assume this way, you're trying to run an ad, all right? So that means you need to make sure that you have the right picture in terms of coming up with an ad, right? And then so that it is very appealing for the customer. And then if they start clicking on the ad and trying to interact with you, making sure that there is someone who can answer the questions, or if there are ways in which the customer can go to an FAQ page or something to get the answers from an engagement perspective, and which should be driven to your acquisition, which is where the actual purchase takes place. And then from here you kind of go into loyalty and advocacy stages, but making sure that you're optimizing at each of these stages will improve your restaurant's ability to interact with the customer and then kind of sign them up for different programs that you have in mind, right? Again, if you look at it from our perspective, the A to A phases that we talked about, right? These are the five stages that we actually go through and make sure that the customers are understanding what is expected out of them in the sense, again, like if you look at it, if you're starting to optimize this one, the customers can think, okay, whenever I place an order, I would know that I'm going to get an email. I also know that like I will also get a coupon or something on those lines, in terms of like from an optimization point of view, where the customer knows what to expect in terms of engagement perspective, and again, which leads to uh, more emphasis on, or more customers joining the loyalty program and staying within the loyalty program as well, right? So again, if you're looking at, if I go back in terms of this one, we talked about having the right loyalty program, and in terms of the right technology as well. Again, from a technology perspective, you need to make sure that you are, for example, as I said, our frequent program is integrated into the point of sale system, so the customers don't have to enter their information, or employees have to enter their information in a different tool or something like that, and which also enables more secure settings for your customer data and all those kind of things. So making sure you have the right technology with regards to the loyalty program. And we talked about basically the communication in terms of how you can actually make sure that you're communicating to your partners, you're communicating to your customers and employees, making them aware of this program, and making sure that they can sell the program to your customers as well, in the sense that, let's assume this way, if I go to a restaurant and if no one is talking to me, or they just take the order and go and then come back for when the bill is to be paid, I would be rather disappointed at this kind of a service, because um, we are telling that, hey, people go out for dining. It's not just for the food part, but also the dining experience as well. So you need to make sure that you are focusing on the employees and making sure that they are interacting with the customers and all those kind of things, right? Um, which boils down to this particular aspect in terms of the in-store experience, right? In the sense that from an in-store experience point of view, you need to make sure that the customers or the employees should know what exactly they are selling, why are they selling, or why are they pushing the employees, or the customers to sign up for the program. Are there any incentives, like for example, few of the strategies that we have adopted in this particular one are, have some kind of a competition between shifts. Say that, okay, whoever signs up maximum number of loyal customers during your shift, one of the persons might win a $50 gift card or something like that. So you are trying to make sure that um, the in-store experience is in-store experience for the customers is in a right direction for them to sign up for this loyalty program, and making sure it is the same kind that they can expect when they are placing an order online or interacting with your brand virtually or something on those lines, right? So in the sense that you need to make sure it is the right, it's a consistent experience, and where you are training the employees, and the technology also comes into play, right? In the sense that you need to make sure that, for example, all our loyalty programs, we have the capability to integrate into the website. So if someone is coming onto your website, and it's easier for them to register for that particular webinar. Or it could also be a QR code scanner from a technology perspective, where you can actually say that, hey, you can just scan this code and join the loyalty program, and when you do, you will get something or on those lines, right? So making sure that you are communicating this, and making sure that you actually have all the posters and all those things, employee trainings within the in-store training, that would actually help a lot in terms of pushing out your loyalty program. Again, the emphasis is actually trying to see as to how your loyalty program can succeed in terms of signups, in terms of the average value and all those kind of things, right? So if you look at it from a customer journey perspective, this is the framework that we have, and at each stage you can implement these strategies to make sure that you are getting the best returns from an overall perspective, right? um, from a when we talk about like the metrics, right? With all these different stages that we are talking about, and the technology as well, like in the sense that loyalty program is not just like where people are signing up at one stage, right? Because you are trying to build the relationship at each of these stages, the awareness to advocacy stage. You need to make sure that you are putting the right foot forward, and make sure that you have the right technology platform and the metrics as well. Like for example, again, as I said, like if you're trying to run a campaign, do you are you able to make sure that you are able to engage the customers, prospective customers, or even existing customers with the right information, right um, right pictures and all those kind of things, right? So that means if they feel happy at the awareness and engagement phase, they are more likely to sign up or more likely to basically place an order. And if that particular experience is good, then they are more likely to subscribe to your loyalty program, which in turn leads to more revenues and decreased costs and all those kind of things. So that's in a nutshell. Like you need to basically again focus on making sure that the customer retention has to happen right from day one, in the sense that your strategies and your focus has to be saying that, okay, if a customer walks in, how can I make sure that this particular customer comes back after a week or 10 days or 20 days or whatever will be the time frame that you're looking at. And then making sure that when they come back, they are, if they spend $20 in the first visit, I want them to spend $21 the next time. And when they're coming back after that, I want to spend them $25. And so that means your focus has to be on these kind of metrics, where we are saying that, are they coming back in terms of the customers walking back into the door? Are they spending more in terms of average ticket value? And then from your employees' perspective, you can also see what is the average time they are spending at a particular table. How much of time are they spending the menu to a particular customer? How much of the time are they spending talking to them, right? And if you look at this, one of the things that we have also noticed is that when customers are happy, they tend to talk a lot more about you as a brand. So that means they are basically becoming the brand advocates as well for you, in order for you to write more reviews or talk about your new offerings within their social circles and all those kind of things. So it actually has a cascading effect. But again, your emphasis has to start right from day one when you're thinking about a loyalty program. The loyalty program, it doesn't start like, okay, the customer, they came into the door, and now I'm kind of let me go think about how can I make them to come back. It should start right from, how can I make sure that if I'm posting something on an ad or something like that, the prospective customers are happy about it, or the existing customers are happy about it, and they want to basically come back to us and all those things. Again, these are the data points that we've been actually comparing it, in terms of from an A to A perspective, and that we have actually seen a great, again, in terms of like from a value perspective, right? We have focused on how are your weekly online order data, how many orders are you getting, what is the average value of the order, how many customers are actually coming back, are they actually coming back, right? In terms of if they are coming back, how often are they coming back? What is the gap between their first and the follow-on visit, and all those kind of things, right? So, from an implementation or from a strategies point of view, right? You need to, like, for example, if you look at this one, right? Like the data points are new customers, um, your data points are new customers, dormant customers, regular customers, right? And discount seekers. If these are the data points, how can you track them? What kind of strategies or what kind of processes that you need to implement for you in order to keep track of it? Like again, on a weekly data points, you can go back and check your data and say, okay, these are the same set of customers who actually, let's assume you have 40 orders, out of which maybe 25 orders are basically from new customers, and maybe two customers who haven't visited you for the past 6 months, but they have just came back to you, and maybe out of which five customers are actually coming back, and then out of these five customers, maybe three are spending a whole lot in terms of average ticket value. So you need to kind of focus on this. Okay, why are these five loyal customers, out of which only three are spending more than the two? Maybe these two customers might have just started their journey with you, in the sense that it could be their second or third order placing with you, whereas these three customers whose average value is more than the others, that means that it might be their fourth or fifth order or something like that. And so that means, how can you make sure that you can increase the frequency and all those kind of things, right? At the same time, you can also look at other things in terms of, okay, how what are the most popular items? Are these customers buying for example, from a menu analysis point of view, maybe your drinks are the most profitable. So, is it possible for you to push drinks for your loyal customers? Or let's assume XYZ item, you have a lot more inventory of that one. Can you actually push them out with a special sale for your loyal customers? So, you can actually look at all these data points, and based on the data points, you can come up with few strategies and execute those strategies, and again measure your metrics, saying that, okay, have my metrics have improved or something like that. You can also check in terms of how many signups you are actually getting, whether the percentage of the data that the customers are giving, is it accurate, and what percentage are they filling up, like in the sense that, if you look at from a data perspective, right, you want a customer's phone number, but you also want their phone number, you also want their birthday information, you also want their email IDs, you also want their credit card data, you also want their um, what are their preferences, you want who their or who they hang out with, you also want to know what is their favorite food. So all these things will enable you to understand your customers more, and ability to use this data to kind of personalize the offers and make sure that they are spending more and talking about you more and all these kind of things. So if you look at it, our frequent um, loyalty program enables to slice and dice all these kinds of data, create customer segments, and based on these customer segments, you can create appropriate coupons or offers that enables your engagement well with these customer segments, right? Again, the emphasis has to be on the loyalty program, why we are doing it, when it actually has to start, what kind of metrics you need to see, what kind of technology you have to actually implement, how should your employees be trained, how should your customers, as a matter of fact, you should also kind of train your customers, saying that what you can expect when you're joining the program, so that the expectations are set, and you need to make sure that you meet or exceed those expectations. In terms of ability to deliver, the delivery can come in multiple forms and fashions, right? The ability to deliver with the right technology, ability to deliver with the right offers at the right time, with the right message in the right channel. So, for example, this is like what we have done with a specific customer, where we have seen pretty good results in terms of where we have implemented. Again, as I said early on, your loyalty program is not like, it doesn't start at the point of when a customer makes a purchase. It starts right at the awareness stage itself, where we are basically again, the awareness and engagement, when we talk about that, it is an existing customer base or it could be a new customer base. If it is an existing customer base, making sure that you are focusing on what you already have or what you already have information about these customers and sending it out, right? And making sure that the process in terms of engagement, whenever if someone posts a question on Facebook page, try to respond to them in a timely manner. So that again engenders more more statistics in terms of more engagement, more open rate, and all those kind of things, right? And we have seen that actually has increased for one of our customers by 24%. And then when you're talking about the acquisition phase where you are focusing on making sure that the right offers are sent with the right preferences, like again, our critique enables us to, which is our customer feedback platform, it enables us to send the right messages at the right time in the sense that once you place an order, we seek their feedback right there and then itself and ability to make sure that they are that we actually act on the feedback that we are actually getting and providing them offers based on what they're purchasing and all these kind of things. And in terms of, again, from a loyalty program perspective, and again, because of the strategies that we have implemented, we have seen a 22% increase in terms of the number of customers who are actually placing an order, and a 23% increase in terms of the loyalty customers who are actually sign up, because we have been able to get them back into the door with targeted email campaigns and ability to make sure some of the dormant customers, we were able to reactivate them with all the focus emphasis on the data metrics that we talked about and the technology piece that we actually have, right? So in a nutshell, if you look at it, your loyalty program starts right from day one with a clear set of objectives in the sense that why you as a restaurant owner or a marketing agency, why you want to actually have a loyalty program, what does it entail, and as in why should a customer sign up, what are they going to get out of it, how are they going to get or how are they going to join the program, and how are you going to keep track of what the results that you are actually getting out of this program by focusing on the metrics and the results that you are focusing on in terms of the metrics, do they are they in line with whatever objectives you have set up? If they are in line, then can you improve upon the expectations? In the sense, can you increase, saying that instead of 10% increase, I want to make it 15% increase in revenues? So that means how can you change your processes to increase that 15% increase? How, what metrics again do you have to focus on? What kind of training do you need to have for the customers? I'm sorry, for the employees. How should you make sure that the customers are pretty engaged with this one? So it is a kind of like a virtuous cycle, or that you need to constantly focus on making sure that all these data elements that you're talking about, it makes sense, and it basically or the metrics and all these components that we talked about, you need to constantly look at them to make sure that you are able to deliver on your loyalty program. Again, from an implementation point of view, it is not just a one-step process, or it is just not like fire and forget kind of a thing. You need to constantly monitor your loyalty program, making sure that it is meeting your goals by looking at the strategies in terms of what we talked about, looking at the metrics, making sure that the customers understand it and the employees understand it, so you can get results from this. This actually concludes our this month's webinar. If you have any questions, obviously we are like the end of the hour. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at mconnect at advertise or marketing at mconnect.com. We'll be more than happy to kind of share with you what we have learned more about mconnect platform, or if you have any questions with regards to anything to do with restaurant marketing or anything like that, you can reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to kind of share with what we have learned and show you how we can help you get better results on your marketing programs, on your loyalty programs, different aspects of your restaurant marketing operations as well. Once again, thank you very much. And again, in the month of June, we'll try to come up with a webinar. Keep checking our website mconnect.com for more information about what topic we're going to talk about next month. Thanks once again for your time, guys. And this webinar will be on our website as well as in our YouTube channel. Share it and hopefully you'll learn something out of this. Once again, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to seeing you again next month.